More news tonight on the vaccine front, and that's where we begin at 5, especially for those who've been waiting to get a COVID booster. We always turn to Monica Robbins to help us navigate these issues. They're so complicated, but our senior health correspondent is perfect at breaking them down, and she joins us now. Monica, good afternoon.
Hi. Yeah. So a lot of parents, as I understand, I've talked to a lot who say, look, I'm on the fence about this. I don't know if I want my kid to get, the newer, is it Moderna? Is that how we say
mRNA,
it? Yeah, the mRNA COVID vaccine, or of course the more traditional Novavax. What are you learning?
Well, here's some good news. So the Novavax is not for the little ones. Those as young as 6 months can either get the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. But the CDC just approved Novavax for kids at 12 to 17. Now remember, this is the one that just became available to adults in July. It's more the traditional based vaccine. It uses 30-year-old technology. It's a 2-dose vaccine, currently only available to those who have yet to be vaccinated. And of course, the hope is that it appeals to the unvaccinated people who would prefer a shot that is not based on that messenger RNA technology used by Pfizer and Moderna. And remember, Novavax was one of the original participants in the U.S. government's race to develop the COVID vaccine in 2020. They received $1.8 billion in taxpayer funding from Operation Warp Speed. So It just adds to our toolbox. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I know you've referred to it as a toolbox, and this is just another tool we have to help fight it, particularly those that might have been little suspect at the mRNA vaccine. More news today from Pfizer. They're now asking for emergency use approval for their new vaccine. When might that be available, and who will it benefit?
Everybody keeps asking me a lot of questions on, I'm not over 50, I can't get my next booster. Well, the FDA is currently reviewing the safety and efficacy data from Pfizer's updated shot. This is the one that includes the original coronavirus plus BA.4 and BA.5, the latter being the dominant variant across the country. Now, the FDA is expected to give emergency use approval by September, so the shot could be available early to mid-September. Some, however, are concerned about the lack of human data. The company is just now starting clinical trials on this version, but the data they provided the FDA is from animal models. It's unclear if the Independent Vaccine Advisory Board will be part of the review process. The new vaccines will benefit anyone who's been waiting to get their booster shot, or those under 50 who weren't permitted to get their second booster. Also, as kids head back to school and the weather gets colder, we're likely going to see an uptick in those COVID cases. A better vaccine may help curb a wave.
But the big picture bottom line is these are substantial upgrades in our vaccines in terms of their ability to prevent infection, to prevent transmission, certainly to prevent serious illness and death. And those vaccines are coming very, very soon.
Now, last year, the FDA released new guidance that updated vaccines can be released without the need for lengthy trials. Pfizer starting human trials in the coming days. Also in the coming days, Moderna will also be asking the FDA for emergency use authorization for its updated vaccine. The government already secured 105 million doses of Pfizer's new shot and 66 million of Moderna's. One other shot you must have on your to-do list this season. Data from the Southern Hemisphere is showing we may be in for a really rough flu season. And flu keeps hitting kids 10 to 14 in Australia. That's where the highest infection rates are. So that's something else parents
It's usually a window into what we're going to face in our fall. This is a pop quiz question. Monique, I hope we have time for this. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about vaccine fatigue. Is that a thing?
Talking about it or getting it?
No, they're like, okay, how many shots do I need?
Yeah, absolutely.
In 20 seconds, why is that dangerous?
Well, first of all, because they may not get one when they actually might need one.
Right.
So really anybody who is vulnerable, you've got to get the vaccine because you are at higher risk of severe disease and death. For the rest of us, look, this is going to be like the flu shot. We're still learning. It's only been 2 years, folks.
Right.
So we're still learning a lot about this. But yeah, I don't blame people. But when this one comes out, it's probably a really, really good idea to sincerely think about getting it.
Very good.
And especially if you're vulnerable.
Great info. Thanks, Monica.
Sure.
Always.